Welcome back everyone to Scavenging with Pineleaf, a series of tales, travels, and trifles. And the anniversary event, Scavenging Hunt, has lasted so long that it appears that the summer festival has already started and people are partying all over the place. We've got heat waves that have taken the life of their own, and it's all generally noisy. But of course, Waldo is still going along his various things, and he has one more week of scavenging for us.
Just look at this.
Would you believe it? I certainly would if I weren't here at my hand. What I mean is to say is I received a letter today. Not dangled from the tree, mind you. Placed in my mail, like a decent hobbit folk do. Only it seems to be from whomever was responsible for all this. They wrote, and quite kindly too, I might add, that this is the last week of new cards, though we are all welcome to continue solving them for some while yet. Then they say that they'll be back next year with even more fun. I must confess that all this huffing and puffing and tearing out my hair, I have actually, and despite all my better judgment, enjoyed myself. I hope you did as well. And therefore, we have year 10 to do. So let's see what is up for year 10. And we have Tales of Bilbo. We have a tavern crawl all through Gondor, though seeing that Bilbo never made it to Gondor, it's certainly not directly related to Bilbo, though it is related to some of the early ones because there are tavern crawls in the other two regions. And then the third is Enormous Beasts. Oh, fun. Let's take care of Bilbo first. As we are running through Tales of Bilbo, we'll start in Bag End, of course, at the fireplace. And what is on this letter? It's an envelope here on the mantelpiece, if you know. Well, no. Here it is in my pocket. That's odd. And that is, of course, when Bilbo was preparing to give the ring to Frodo, and for some reason, he was just not quite doing it right. Now that I'm back outside at the party, I need to find a table in which to stand and give a speech, assuming I don't interrupt anybody. This looks like an appropriate place. It's a bit noisy here, but let's see if I can give a nice speech that everyone can hear. I don't know half of you as well as I'd like, and I like less than half of you as well as you deserve. Well, what does that mean? I think the hobbits didn't understand either. I think it's time to head over to Rivendell. Fortunately, it's a lot quieter here in the Hall of Fire than it is over at the party tree, and that's probably even true when the elves are singing. And speaking of singing, let's sing a little song to Bilbo. He said if I had the cheek to sing of Eärendil in the House of Elrond, it is my affair. Well, yes. Eärendil. However, you get the idea. Let's go to Bilbo's room and sneak at some things. Here we are in Bilbo's room, and he's got a box here with his things, and it looks like a pretty small box if you ask me, but who am I to say? Alright, let's see what's inside. He said oh, sorry, wrong one. This is Sting. Take it if you like, and also the mithril mail. We hobbits must stick together, especially Bagginses. Alright. I was trying to avoid the pitfall trying to read the billboard because it flashes by so quickly, and of course I read the wrong text in the Say channel. I need to find an optimal way of doing this. Maybe I will before the event. Oh, that's right. We're getting to the end now, aren't we? Now we're in the troll shalls where we have found some stone trolls. Do you think that these were the very 3 trolls Bilbo had told of, turned into stone while quarreling over how to cook 13 dwarves and a hobbit? Oh yeah, quite a set of trolls. And fortunately, very non-aggressive at the moment. Thank you, Gandalf, for delaying them until the sunlight. But now we'll have to leave the warmth of the troll shawls and head over into the Misty Mountains. Since Bjorn is no longer around and we can't visit the Anduin Vale where Grimbjorn lives, we decided we'll go to Grimbjorn here in the Misty Mountains, since he visited here for a little while for the class quest at level 45, I believe, the level 45-50 quest line. Hello, Grimbjorn! It is true, I am the lord of many sturdy women and men, the proud line of my sire Bjorn. It is due to us that no orc nor wolf dares to tread the land between the mountains and Mirkwood. Yes, it is due to us commerce may pass between Dale and Rivendell. The dwarves may complain about our tolls all the like. The cost would be far higher were brigands and orcs to roam our path. So in other words, like his father before him, Grimbjorn was a man stern, mighty, and proud. And of course, they do charge tolls in order to do their work, because all that time they are spending keeping out orcs and brigands and the like is time that they're not able to find some other means in there. And believe me, it is certainly better for commerce to have someone in there keeping those orcs at bay. But now, I think it is time for us to head into Goblin Town, a place that I'm sure that Bilbo remembers all too well. Here we are in that nasty place known as Goblin Town, where we found a warg. You're kidding. One last button sprung from young Bilbo Baggins' waistcoat. Oh boy. See, I can never get waistcoat pronounced properly. Vest! Okay, that's what I'll say. I'll just say vest. And what is a warg doing with a button? Let's go find Gollum's cave. I have found Gollum's cave, which is now filled with salamanders, apparently. Obviously, that's the touch that moved in after Gollum vacated the area. I suppose before, Gollum was eating the salamanders when they were still young, so therefore they never got to a noticeable size. But now they're all over the place, and they seem to be the top predator now, apparently. But I think I need to think of a good riddle. Not fair! Not fair to ask what's it's got in its pockets! Yep, not fair at all. Well, too bad, Gollum. You lost anyway. Now, let's see. How about going into Mirkwood? Because we all know what Bilbo did in Mirkwood. And what Bilbo did, of course, was to fight spiders. And we need to take care of 8 of those, and I thought the best place to go would be the Dreadweaver's lair, since we should be able to find plenty of spiders here. Now, if that spider had gone into anti-exploit mode, I would say that they need to change the AI for spiders, because I think spiders should be able to climb pretty easily. Maybe they could just have the spider jump or climb up the wall or whatever, but alright, they're pretty big spiders, so maybe they won't have the same abilities as as smaller spiders, but there we go. And I guess we could take care of the boss spider for our 8th. There we go. 8 spiders down. Then of course after Bilbo escaped and helped the dwarves to escape Mirkwood also, it was then time to head on a barrel to Lake Town. But since Lake Town is not in the game at this time, perhaps we should instead head over to Dale, which was rebuilt by some of the people who had fled Lake Town after its destruction by Smog. So let's head over to Dale. Oh right, that's an instance! Here we are in Dale. We only have Dale in the instanced form because Dale is not yet in the landscape to the game, so therefore we have to settle for the invitation in the Bells of Dale quest. Well, that doesn't sound good. We have people escaping all over the place. And of course, Bilbo's trip to Dale would have been at a point when it wasn't exactly when Dale was at its best, because Dale was a ruin at that time, because he was there just before Smog was defeated, and while Smog was around, of course, Dale was just a ruin. But after Smog was defeated, Dale was refounded. That's 2 things to remember. Now I'm running this at 20 because I'm just caring about the remembrances right now, not about getting any great rewards or anything like that. And this is a 6-player instance, and I don't feel like soloing a full level Bells of Dale to pick up these remembrances. Now, of course, this is also the location of the Battle of 5 Armies. Well, okay, it's pretty close to Dale at least. And that would be a relatively memorable thing. So I suppose there are also memories of the instance itself to think about, of following those shadow rats all over the place to know where to go. Nothing like using shadow rats to tell you where to head when you're doing your quest. I mean, yeah, let the enemy tell you where to go. Since you have to eventually fight those shadow rats at the end when they're trying to gnaw the ropes so that you could ring the bells to warn everybody. And yes, and there you got your first boss way down there, but I just need to remember it since he's not blocking my path. And I think that's it for our tales. So let's head back to the party tree and find out what our reward is. Before I speak with Waldo, I should note that completing all 10 of the tales gave me 3 Lorien gold dies and 3 Ashen Slade's green dies. So therefore, one of the rewards then is a pair of dice that you get for completing all 10 of a series. That means that there'll be another 2 dice for completing travels, and there'll be another 10 dice for completing trifles. And you know that last set I'm definitely not getting if you've been watching this closely. But now let's see what I get for specifically completing the 10th anniversary portion. Ah well, it seems that the cards will be staying up for a little bit longer. So if you missed any you thought that you might be worth your while, now would be a good time to complete them. I was assured by the letter I received that all the cards you missed would return next year with some new scavenger hunts as well. See you soon, and thanks again for all your help. Here's a final reward for being such a caring friend during all this ruckus. Take care. Alright, and let's see, it looks like some furniture for our house. Ooh, but in addition to this, there is also a reward for completing all of the sections. So let's look through the goodies. what we got were a cloak rack so that we could have some guests, and a hobbit cupboard, which unfortunately doesn't hold anything, but that would be nice and decorative. So something for my regular house instead of the house over in Gondor. But now I notice that we also got a couple other things. We have another little animal friend here, which you'll look at in a moment. Right now we also have some armor here. See what we're looking like in it. It's a pretty dragonish, shall we say. Quite a piece of armor here. Is impressive. Not exactly what I call party attire, but it looks like it may be intimidating to an enemy that you may be facing, and that can be useful. I'll have to think on it. But that is the little bit of reward there. But of course we also get another animal friend, and for that we'll need to go outside. The first outdoor item I want to share is the mount that goes with the armor. And yes, I think they work very well together. If you wanted an intimidating mount, then you've got one to go with your intimidating armor. And I believe it comes in a war steed variety also. And here is the war steed version of the dragon horse. Really nasty. So now you've got some intimidating armor for both you and for your war steed. But I think now it's time to have a look at the cosmetic pets you get for completing 10 years. For completing all 10 years, we also got the white stag, which is one of the most elusive creatures in traditional literature. There was one in The Hobbit, which the dwarves happened upon, and things did not go very well after that point. We had the white stag there. We also encountered it ourselves, where we attempted to look for a white stag in Gondor, and it of course eluded us. Now we do have the white stags that we hunted in White, but let's face it, the ultimate prize is not killing the white stag, but having it following you around for a friend. And that's what we have done, finally, in this. And that concludes our Tales sections of our series. Next time, we will have the final episode for our travels, where we'll travel along and do a pub crawl throughout Gondor. And if we have time, maybe we could attend to all of those pieces of paper that we've been collecting. We'll find that out next time in the next episode of Scavenging with Pineleaf, a series of tales, travels, and trifles.